Hey, what's up, traders? This is Lex. This is Thursday, August 30th. It is a little around 5 p.m. I want to do a post-trade analysis. There was a solid day trading today. There was a lot of great opportunities that presented itself, and I was fortunate to capture some good profits on multiple trades. I did 2 day trades on CRON, C-R-O-N, Cronish Group, and INSY, which was INSY Therapeutics. I did 2 day trades on those, and then I took profits on my swing trade of MJ, which was the Alternative Harvest ETF. And so I want to go over all 3 trades today and why I chose them and where I got my entries and exits. So let's start with the first trade today, which was INSY. And the reason why this was up was basically like a classic breakout of good news and a good chart breakout technically. If you look at the daily chart here, you can see there's been overhead resistance around $8.50. And today this opened around $8.44. So it already had a technical breakout. But the news was that the FDA granted fast track designation for their nasal spray. So what that means, fast track designation, is that they don't have to go through the normal procedures of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, all the clinical trials, because this solution they have for the nasal spray is supposedly is very difficult to treat. So they're just fast designation to do it and get clinical trials to go, just to bypass them, just put it out in the market. For use by doctors and pharmaceutical companies. So that was my first trade. Now, if we look at the intraday, I waited for the 30-minute OR, and just so I can see where the price action was moving, and it was forming a bullish flag breakout, which is one of my favorite patterns here. In my first trade, you can see this buy 4 calls. I bought 4 calls around 10:04. Let's see. Yeah, this was original 4 right here, 4 contracts at 25 cents per contract, so that was $100. Then I added, it broke, once it broke through, that was at 10:04 right here. So the underlining was around $9.25. It broke the 30-minute OR and then dipped and then rebroke it again, and that's where I added 1 around 50 cents. No, 1 at 40 cents. And then I added 1 more for a total of 6 at 50. So altogether, I had a total of 6 contracts. My average price was 31 cents per contract. And I just kind of watched it. The news was good, the chart was good, and it just kind of steadily, once it broke the 30-minute OR, just steadily climbed. And eventually around 1:30, it started to really break out. And it went up about 10%. I took profits when it was around $10 and I think 30 cents right here. This was around, I think, 1:30. So it was about a 3-hour trade. And I was up 152%, so I took profits. So overall, I made $289 on that. That was a 152% gain. That was a great trade. It was an easy trade. It was just a bullish flag breakout. It had the news, the catalyst, it had the chart. And I used options. So I used some call options, which has been my latest strategy. I bought 1, it was a weekly, it was 1 tier out of the money, and once it hit in the money, it went up another 10%, and that's when I sold. So that's trade number 1, that was for $289. Trade number 2 was Cronish Group, which, as you know, I've been trading this all the past 2 weeks because of the pot boom. But today, I actually went on the other side of the trade, and I was bearish, and I bought some puts, which is also shorting it, basically. And the reason why I shorted this or sold puts was because Andrew Leff from CRON Research came out with a note today highlighting that Cronish Group was a fraud, that they don't have all the product that they say they have. And they actually put out a whole paper and blog. You can actually download this. Look at this. I mean, they just killed this. CRON Research, August 30th, 2018. Dark side of the cannabis space with a target of 350. They were just talking about why they're bearish on this. They highlight some of their orders, which is very, very low supply as far as their how much cannabis they actually have. It compares it to their peer groups. Just overall, just a really bearish note on CRON research. And if anybody knows Andrew Left, he's a big short seller. When he talks stuff on Twitter, he can break a stock. He was actually the first one to short Bitcoin futures in January when he put out a note that Bitcoin was bearish and had no intrinsic value. He shorted that. He put out a note in March about Snap saying it had about 20% upside. And sure enough, the stock went up 20% upside. So if you know him, when he does a tweet, he can really make or break a stock in the short term, and that's what happened here. So as soon as this broke the 30-minute OR right here, I bought 2 puts, and as it started to decline and off this first bounce, I bought another one. So originally my first buy of the put was right here. Let's see, I bought one at 130, another one at 95, and then finally one at 80 cents. So I had a total of 3 puts. 3 puts at average price of $1.02, and that was around, my first order was at 10:32, and then I ended up selling it at 1:40 p.m. For $2 a put. So that was a nice 98% gain, almost a double. So that's 2 trades today that were almost over 100% basically, about an average of about 125%, which is awesome in 3 hours. So that was a $295 profit. If we look here, I sold all 3 CRON, sell 3 contracts at $2 right here. So my initial investment was $300, and I came out with $600. That's pretty good. Same thing with INCS. Here's my sell order with this. 6 contracts at 80 cents for $480. The initial investment was 6 contracts times times 80 cents, so 240. And so those are my 2 day trades. Those were classic, just breakouts and breakdowns. Both had huge catalysts and news. The last trade I did was my swing trade of MJ, which I've been also talking about these in my previous videos. Now, I was riding this for 4 days. It started falling today, mostly because of the news with Kronos Group, but also just because the overall weed sector is it's kind of overextended and it needs to pull back. So I just sold to profits. I was up. I had the October 19th calls, long calls for the 35 strike price. And then I also had the MJ April of next year $40 calls. I had 3 of those and 1 of the 35. I just got rid of them. I sold them. Nothing crazy. $120 profit on the 40 calls, and $125 on the 35 calls. The 35 calls was a 208% gain. That's pretty rad. That was my biggest percentage gain in the past 2 weeks. I think for the month actually. I just wish I had more contracts, but it was a 4-day swing trade, so I did hold it for 4 days. Yesterday, I was actually up about 300 on those, because if you look at the chart, its best day was yesterday, where it peaked out and hit a high yesterday of 34, and I ended up selling today when it broke down the 30-minute OR. So let's just get out. I sold it around 30. I think it was around 33. The underlying. Let's take a look here. I sold my MJs, let's see, filled 1:24 p.m. So the underlining was 24. Yeah, this is when it was starting to fall underneath the 30-minute OR. Yeah, right here. Actually, right before it did. So I took profits, in a good spot, just because it broke down after that. It got killed. It actually broke down through yesterday's 30-minute OR. So that's really bad. But overall, I like this ETF, and I'm definitely going to buy back in. It just needs to pull back. I've been making profits on this on the way up, just like I did with CRON. So I have no problem taking profits on that, and just wait for the pullback and get back in once Labor Day clears up. Probably sometime next week, once we get a nice price flip. So yeah, so that's my video today. Short but sweet. Really solid day trading. I was patient, let the trades come to me. 2 day trades, 1 swing trade. So it was $289 off the CRON. Let's see, the next one was, I'm sorry, that was $289 for INSY Therapeutics. CRON was $294. And then finally, my MJ trades were, let's see, 125 plus 120, so that's 245. Whoops, 245. So, oops, let's start this over. 289 plus 294 plus 245. So $828 on the day. So that's all realized in the day. So I'm happy with that. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, leave a comment. I'm going to be trading tomorrow, which is Friday. It's the last day of the August trading. I'm actually going to be traveling from New York City to Boston to go see some family and friends and have a blast, do some barbecues up north. Going to hit the seacoast as well. So, but I will be trading tomorrow. We'll see what's happening. It's probably going to be slow since it's a long 3-day weekend, and trading will start again next week, Tuesday. So if I don't see you, have a great weekend, and thanks for watching this video.